Saints fans, welcome back. Where today we're going to talk about Paulson Adebo, go over a few of the plays, which funny enough, they didn't seem to want to target him too much. Paulson Adebo seems to be a well-kept secret here for New Orleans, and after having a sophomore slump, I think he's having a stellar season so far. In fact, of the starting corners, it's actually Adebo who leads the team in forced, QB rating, as in it's lowest when he's targeted. That's the word I'm looking for. And I'm not saying that he's better than Lattimore, because Lattimore typically is going to cover the best receiver. Take a look at Lattimore covering DeAndre Hopkins, and then watch DeAndre Hopkins like last week go off for 3 TDs and know that, okay, Lattimore is really good. But Adebo has been playing fantastic, and it can be hard to see how well Adebo is playing. And I know we need to do a video about Howden, and we need to do a video about Adebo and Honey Badger and Marcus May and everybody else. But today we're going to focus on a few plays from Adebo, what he did really well, what he does really well here in the game. And as always, I ask you to do this every video because, well, at this point, it's just kind of like, I don't know, a thing. Who dat if you like film studies, and let me know who all you want to see. And do me a huge favor, right? If we want this channel to have more stuff, y'all got to help grow the channel. Share this out with every who dat that you know on Facebook, internets, everywhere. I don't know, a newspaper. Make it happen. Let's roll the film. All right, so this first one I actually really like because it's going to display his physicality. Now, if you're worried or trying to figure out where he is, he's at the top of your screen right here. So what they're trying to do here, as in what the Colts are trying to do, is kind of like a little quick wide receiver / little bubble screen. We want to give him the pause, stick out here, we'll hit him, and then he'll try to come behind. So what you're going to have Adebo do is a great job to recognize. And the biggest thing I want to really highlight in today's film study with Paulson Adebo is what we would talk about in linebacker play, click and close, like the ability to see it, hit it, how quickly you react. He's really showing some great mental processing and, more importantly, how fast he processes the game. So right here, he's going to be focused in man coverage. The receiver sells the outside, but look how quickly he just rotated and adjusted here. So 1 foot, and as soon as he saw the hips turn back in, he's already planning to match. One thing that you're going to see a lot of here, and this is good corner play, is he's going to match the hips of whoever he's covering very, very well. So as soon as he matches, bam. Now, this part I love. I'm going to pause it, try to pause it perfectly for you, but watch it run real quick and look at his eyes. Look at his helmet. I'm going to try to, maybe I should zoom this in real quick. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Here, let's take this, and we're going, wow, like that. Yeah, I want you to look at his eyes. Focus on his eyes. Bam, here we go. Look at this, right here. See how that helmet is turned? As soon as he saw the eyes turn of the wide receiver, he turned his. And now he's there to be in a position to break up that play. It's not pass interference. Contact within those first 5 yards is allowed. So he's doing appropriate contact. He's not withholding the receiver's ability to make a play on the ball, but he's doing a fantastic job of reading the receiver, matching his hips. So when the receiver wanted to go out, he's going to match him, right? So let's look at this zoomed in version here. So watch this. First step, selling to the outside is what the receiver wants to do. Sold. We respond. As soon as those hips turn, react. Bam. Get right there. Beautiful. And the quick reaction is something that I've really come to love seeing from his play. But let's look at another rep. Again, this is just consistent with him, his reaction timing and his ability to match. And we talk about pattern matching coverage, but you also want to route match. Like, you ever heard a DB running the route for a wide receiver? You're going to see a lot of that in today's video for Paulson Adebo. All right, so in this one, we're going to see him operate through a mesh concept. Now, you've heard me talk about the New Orleans Saints running a mesh concept. To remind you what that is, you're going to have an underneath crossing pattern and another crossing pattern that goes over the top. The idea is you want to catch everybody in here into what's called like a natural rub. So you want to get all the DBs and linebackers kind of running into each other so that you can open something over here or both. So how you navigate this is very important. Now, I'm just going to let the tape roll and speak for itself on Paulson Adebo. Navigates it amazingly. And this is on a critical third down. Mesh concepts are great man beaters if you don't have a corner playing to this level. So you've got Adebo, who is currently playing a little bit off here inside. One thing also in this game, Adebo travels. So he didn't just stick only to being the boundary or field side. And this is going to be a coverage call that you see a lot from DA, because you'll notice that we got a certain linebacker covering a certain running back out there. But you will have Adebo travel inside and outside. And then look at the versatility here and the recognition. So he's going to watch receiver. As soon as he recognizes the break, He's matching his hips. See how he's not just like beaming down into him. The hips are matched. I love this. Now, watch as we get to the navigation ports. So he knows where this route is going. So he doesn't need to keep his eyes on. He needs to navigate. Because you notice right here what we got. Mess. Look at all this junk. All that is in the way, right? So we got to navigate through that, as well as one coming over his top. So he has to find the spot where he can get to where he knows the pass is going to be thrown. This is why it's so important to know the routes the receivers are running, doing your film study. So what's he do? Navigate. Now, where's his head? Now that he's navigate, find the ball, find your target, find the wide receiver, click, close, bam, beats Honey Badger there. Again, I'm not trying to hate on Honey Badger, but Honey Badger right here. Watch Honey Badger react to this. And then compare that to Adebo crossing the entire field. Who gets there first? Now, admittedly, Matthew is at the end of his career. He's not a bad player by any stretch, but he's not what he was, when he was like an all-pro level player. But just Adebo, the ability to read this, understand the route, know what's coming, and then navigate through all this traffic, and then lay a hit that's a confident, solid tackle, forcing a fourth down. That is teach tape. Like if you are out there as a DB coach and you're wanting to show, hey, lined up over the number 2, whether you're playing a hook curl defender or you're playing a match system, if you're going to face in a man coverage on the number 2 in this type of mesh concept, how you want to fight it, this is teach tape. This is perfect. Soon as the ball snaps, right now, matching hips. Now head, he's got peripheral vision. Also, shout out to Demario Davis for helping with the reroute. This actually does help out. We love that. Find the hole. Now he's found the receiver. See how he found the lane he had to get through the trash first? Now, because he matched the hips of the wide receiver, he should be around the same spot. Now, do you worry about things like pivot routes, things like that? Not in this concept. I mean, you're not going to throw 3 receivers and then pivot this one back and then have this one underneath. You're not going to have 4 people in a box. Who the heck would do something crazy like that? So he comes through, he finds it, and then recognizes the play and makes a huge stop. Again, this is just really, really good football from Paulson Adebo. Really good ball. All right, here's another one. This time he's operating from closer to the line of scrimmage, so he's got to navigate things again in a really kind of sticky situation, I would say. So here he comes up with a tackle, and again, he's going to have to do this now from one, swapping and closing, and I love this. So a lot of what you see from the Colts is trying to create these rub opportunities or these routes that put DBs in conflict and make it difficult to break through. So he's going to swap and exchange. So normally, you're going to see here, bam, bam. A lot of times you would swap this out, but with New Orleans, how they're going to play it, look, going to come down here. There's the jam, leak, matching still, and instead of swapping out, they simply carry their existing rolls. Sometimes they'll swap out depending on how they want it, like in a crossing or a scissor concept. Sometimes they'll swap out. Here, they're going to fight through it and stick through it, and he has to give a little bit of breadth to make sure that Taylor has room, and then he's going to fire over the top. Again, match, close, and look at this. This is closing speed. I mean, this is just very good tape. He's going to avoid, see the rub coming, even though he's playing at the line of scrimmage. Look at him notice it. You can even see his helmet there. He's reading the play. So look at him. He's going to backstep, match. Look, he's keeping hip to hip right there. As soon as those hips turn, he's matching. And then the closing speed to lock it down. So you give him a few yards here. It's nothing more than like a 4-yard run. In a man coverage, that's clearly they're trying to create traffic, create trash so that he gets lost in a roundabout way. But it's a very good job by everybody on the Saints defense, actually, to do their role really well. You see coverage is pretty locked up everywhere. Underneath pass has nowhere to go. And this is another example of Adebo. It's not just about athletic ability, it's processing speed, because when this play starts, he's lined up on the line of scrimmage. There's the rub. But he's got to match his receiver as well as navigate through potential traffic and then close the area that was gained. I think he does a great job, man. It's just really good job here with this trail to come up and collapse that down instead of it being a big yards after catch opportunity, which for many Saints fans remember was a big problem for a long time. They used to give up yards after the catch in these type of routes every game. All right, so again, I talked about Adebo traveling to cover. Well, here's another example of him working the inside to then work outside. Great job to play it underneath, understanding where his leverage is and where his help is. So this is going to be a pretty basic in route by the nickel receiver here. And again, like I said, I love about him is that he'll travel. So if they try to line up in this 3-by-2, but the primary guy that they want him to cover lines up inside, he has the ability to work as an inside guy or an outside guy. And I love that about Adebo. So watch him read this, react to it, and then also comes down to understanding what his assignments are. So we've got the blanket out here with Lattimore. We got a little bit of space here down at the bottom with Pete Warner, but you've got that one locked up. And then it comes down to the 2 deep and then knowing where your cover is. So if you notice with Adebo, he knows that he's got this safety to cover his back right here. So what's he going to do? He undercuts this route, gets right underneath it. So it puts him in a position to either 1, attack downfield if this guy is to get the ball, and 2, make a play on the ball if needed, knowing that the backside leverage is covered by the safety. And obviously the ball comes out, ends up being an incomplete pass. But in terms of technique, love it. Great job. And all you got to worry about in these is when you transition the hands. You're allowed to get those hands on and touch as long as it doesn't impede the speed of the runners. Come on, so like when we talk about a boxer, like when you want to bat that glove, you're not actually trying to like move their arm. You're just trying to throw it off pace a little bit. You could definitely do what Adebo does here and just get a little bit of that contact. Nothing wrong with that. Get that arm in there. Let them know that you're present. And then transition. And it comes back to understanding. And this is one way that Adebo's game has really grown from his rookie year, is this clearly understands his role and what his responsibilities are here. So watch it here. Little hands on just there. We're going to swap over. As long as it doesn't impede the runner, that's fine. And then cut underneath. Love it. He knew he had the safety back, so he's allowed to get underneath it. Sometimes you don't. Like, remember on the crossing pattern, he had to stay on top of that because he didn't have any help there. Understanding what's going on around you, that situational awareness is one of those signs, honestly, of a good veteran player. There are a lot of rookies that come in the league, especially at skill position players, who might be really good to just one-on-one man cover you up and down the field. But do they understand what this guy's job is, or this guy's job is, or this guy's, and more importantly, can they predict where they're going to be? Because the communication and the trust is there, he knows that this safety is going to have that topside leverage and is going to do his job correctly, meaning that he can underneath on this one, and that puts him in a position to either put a break on the ball or assist downfield. And this is just really good fundamental football at every level from this team. So he's going to operate again from the inside. Let's you watch it one more time. Love this. Just enough, hey, I'm here, undercut, great job. And you see, we have the same type idea from everyone, right? Everybody kind of understands their role here. Everybody kind of is in a great position. And then you love the pass rush. Almost getting there. Come on, we need some sacks, baby. But anyway, Adebo, great job. Good teamwork. All right, short zone. I want to show him working in the zone, staying active, not giving up ground. So bottom of your screen right here, it's important for him to remember, if you're in this cover 2 underneath, which is what they're running a C2 underneath zone set. And that means that we're defending. This is like a really long play. If you notice the marker, the line of scrimmage is well behind the marker. They got to get like 20 yards. So they're playing a really soft underneath, and then they got 2 deep safeties here in the middle. Now, he has to pass this off and trust that behind him is covered, because if he gives up too much ground right here, you see how he stayed planted and he's in his zone, eyes on the quarterback. There's a tendency, especially with guys who are really good in man coverage, and Adebo, I think, is good in man, to want to trail that guy that was just leaving their zone. So what they'll do is, let's say that this is your zone and you got somebody running through it. You might have a tendency to like shade towards this corner because that's where the receiver was, which leaves this part at the bottom open. You got to make sure that you can defend your entire zone at a given time. So that's what he does here. It's a great job to understand his role. So you got like a 2nd and 20. And you know that they've got to go deep, but that doesn't mean that you abandon the underneath, because again, what can kill you? Yards after the catch. Now again, there's more to it than just him having good zone integrity. Look at how quickly that click and close is for him. Look, he's going to recognize it. As soon as he lets that pass off, break on it, bam. And then what is more important here? Go look at it from this other angle. Gets that right fist in, and he actually forces the pass breakup. So this is more than just him having good zone integrity. It's also him making sure that the play is not even a completion to begin with. Now, you'll see it here on the right side of your screen, right there. See that right arm? You see the left arm wrap around, but that right arm is punching inside. Ball's out. Great play. Absolutely great play. Is it an interception? No. Is it anything that's going to get extra attention on a highlight reel? Well, on this one, even though I don't do highlight reels, I just do play. But honestly, God, you can't really find any bad plays of him in coverage in this game. You really can't. I mean, he did a very good job in this game. I think he's really grown as a player. But it's a combination of things. It's doing every little thing right. It's understanding zone integrity, having that situational awareness, understanding passing off receivers that leave your zone and where new receivers can come into your zone, which he clearly recognized here, and then making a break while this entire time you are watching the quarterback. Because that's the key to zone. Remember, in man coverage, you play the man. In zone coverage, you play the ball, or the quarterback in this case. So he has to feel the receiver coming in and leaving. He has to feel the receiver that could come here, which is more a knowledge of film study, understanding what can come and attack me. You see, that was a little sit route that actually leaks into his area, and he understands that while seeing the quarterback so he can react quickly to the ball being thrown and then force that incompletion. It's just a fantastic job. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and act like Adebo's this all-pro. I'm not trying to give him all the flowers in the world, but I do think that he's performing really well, and he should be given credit for this type of performance. Again, this is fantastic. There's that, you can barely see, it's kind of blurry. There's that arm punching in, making sure the pass is incomplete, and then making a form tackle. Just a really beautiful job. All right, here's the big one for you. Everybody wants to see it. Giving that kind of quarters look, rotate over, and interception. First, you gotta love the ability to see him operate something like a speed turn, and then he takes his back. Now, number one, this is so critical that he actually is able to make this return to me, because if you remember in recent weeks, he intercepts his ball, and if he just goes down the end zone, they're going to go forward, progress him, and give the Saints the ball at the 2. So he's going to catch it here, and they're going to say he got tackled into the end zone, so he actually needs to take this out somewhere. And I love that he has the recognition to do that, but that's not the most important part of the play. Let's talk about how he actually reacts to this coverage here. So New Orleans is given that kind of quarters look that they give all the time. And there's that shift where they're going to go into this little 2x2 set here. They're going to show this play action, and then they're reading the safety. So now we know that they're trying to hold and beam here to this right side. Sell outside, we're trying to do an out and up here, right? We've seen New Orleans do this all the time. They'll show an out and up, so we're going to try to get his hips turned, and they do. But speed turn, bam, matched it. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, you thought you had me? You didn't. Now turn and find. Now, the one thing I'll say about this receiver, I don't think the receiver runs a really good route. They're trying to do an out and up, but with the out, they then start curling inside as if they're heading to the post. So that's a kind of a negative here, because that's going into the help, into the safety. So Adebo wants you to fight inside, because Adebo says, this is my area, and then this is the safety's area. So the area you worry about is this little area right here. Had the receiver kept moving forward, they might have been able to at least put a play on the ball, but the receiver starts heading inside, and that kind of throws it off. But the big thing for Adebo here playing this off coverage is when this comes in and you bite on this out route, you have to use this technique to quickly flip your hips so that you can, again, match. That's what he does right there. Bam. As soon as he sees the inside cut, flips those hips, speed turn, and then right into it, find it. So looking for the ball here, it's a reaction to seeing the helmet of the wide receiver go looking for the ball. So if the receiver looks for the ball, you need to look for the ball. That means that you can try to force a play. And again, because he's kind of heading inside, you might wonder, well, why is Adebo kind of not following? Well, it's simple. The safety right there. So they're going to create a natural bracket. Adebo is playing this backside, and he's tracking the ball and picks it off. So it's just a fantastic job every way around. I don't think the route run by the wide receiver is that clean. At least I don't expect it. I mean, if it was New Orleans, they wouldn't be very happy about him suddenly breaking it inside the numbers. They'd want him to carry it up. And the difference is, if you carry it straight, then you've actually got that inside for that pass to fall. Whereas if you break inside, then you're going right into the safety. But Adebo keeps it clean, reads it, understands where his leverage is, because he's got outside leverage with inside help. And that's all he needs to play it. He needs to break on this out route, flip it, maintain outside leverage. He does exactly just that, intercepts the ball. And again, you're just seeing great, just fundamentally good play. I'm not going to argue that Adebo is amazing, because amazing corners have like 8 interceptions and simply never get targeted because they drive that much fear into you. But I will say that he's heading in that daggum direction right now. Like, he's playing to that degree. Now, if he can start doing that against the elites of the league, and start baiting quarterbacks and interceptions, and we'll start talking about being in that all-pro level. But gosh dang, in terms of being like number 2 corners, this dude's playing really, really well, y'all. Really well. All right, so there's your Paulson Adebo film study. At the end, I know I'm kind of like trying to stymie things because I'm not trying to call him the best corner on the team or in the league, but I will say that he's performing very well. And for a player that had gotten a lot of grief from some of the fans because they wanted Alontae Taylor to start outside, I think he's really proving people that he's deserved to be out there. New Orleans has a great problem where they've got a stud number 1 in Lattimore. They've got a stud number 2, and then they've got another guy who can play on the outside and inside, and Alontae Taylor, who, in my opinion, can also become a stud. New Orleans has a wealth of riches at corner right now, and it's actually kind of crazy because we've had it for a few years, right? Like, it's not just Adebo. It's not just Alontae Taylor. You go back, even when they were plugging in one-year rentals with Janoris Jenkins and Eli Apple and then having Roby, they still had good corner play. And now they found guys that are long-term. And I really hope that Adebo and Taylor are with this team for a long time if they're playing the level that they are now. Specifically, Adebo here, talking about him being on the outside, doing a fantastic job. You can see that click and close there. You can see his ability to read the field, understanding routes and coverages, and he really fits this Dennis Allen defense. But if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, I mean, you watched it to this point, go ahead and do me a huge solid, like the video. Subscribe. I can only make content if you continue to share this out with ever Hoodats and get more people to watch the channel. The more people that watch, like, subscribe, etc., the more content that we make. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to check out the links in the description below. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. These things take time, several hours. So if you enjoy them, even $1 of your hard-earned money would be greatly appreciated. Hoodat, God bless. We'll catch you on the next film study. Deuces. Check out the Hoodat Professional Podcast. Bye.